See that right there? Between the pulley and the alternator body, you see rust flakes. That's from the internals of the alternator. I believe the bearing is going bad in the alternator. And I checked the tension on the belt, and it's a little bit too tight. So I think that this car at some point before I bought it was serviced. And the Einstein technician over-tightened the belt. Because you see, it has this system, which I totally hate. The automatic tensioners are so much better because you can't screw it up. What you're supposed to do is look for the largest distance between two pulleys, which it looks like is up here. Of course, it's hard to get to it. Then you're supposed to, and you try to twist the belt. You can't see what I'm doing because my hand gets in the way. Try to show you. See, I don't know if you can see. So you want to twist the belt, and when I twist the belt, you can't get it to 90 degrees. You can almost get it there, but not quite. So it's too tight. That's probably why this alternator failed prematurely. Well, was about to fail and will eventually seize. And then it will destroy your belt as well, and then you'll have to get a new belt, and the car will be stranded, and you have to get it towed. For the tension adjusting bolt, you need a 12mm socket. I'm going to go ahead and loosen this up a little bit for now. Bolt up here on the bracket, the tensioner bracket, we have to take out. And there's a bolt down there that we have to get to. And you have to unhook the wiring, but the first thing you want to do is disconnect the positive battery terminal so there's no power in the system before you do anything else. You need a 10mm socket. Get it in there. Loosen up this connection here. Use a 10mm socket to remove this nut. On the side of this wire harness, there's a tab. Press it in, and then jiggle it off. Wiggle it off. There you go. Inside this thing, there's a tab. Pull it forward, and then pop it off. Move the wires out of the way. There we go. Loosen that a little bit for now. Get your breaker bar in there. Not much working room in these cars. Very difficult to get the breaker bar in there. Let's see if I believe I loosened it a little bit. Let's see if this was enough so I can use my socket now. Well, it was a struggle, but I think we got it now. Right there. Hopefully you could see it around the pulley. See the bolt's right there, the lower bolt, and it's pretty long, so it's going to take a while to unscrew it. What I did to get this off was I put two of my adapters together with the socket so I could put it here to get it around the pulley, but now it's going to hit this. There's this plastic over here to the left. It's part of the braking system. It's in the way. Always something in the way. So now what you have to do is you could just have to go like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this 1/2 inch socket with an adapter, a 3/8 adapter. It's a 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter. If you don't have one, you should get one. They're a great tool to have. And then I have the 12mm socket on the end to make it a little shorter, but hopefully it'll get me what I need to get this off. And then see, I'll show you these real quick. This one is a 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter. 1/2 inch goes in here. Wait, I got it backwards. This is a 3/8 to a 1/2 inch. So a small ratchet like this, you can use 1/2 inch sockets if you need to, if you buy this adapter. And this adapter is the opposite. It's a 1/2 inch to a 3/8. So you can use smaller sockets on a 1/2 inch driver. Let's see if this will work. Yep, it clears it, but of course it doesn't want to go on the bolt head. Oh, you know what I'm doing? Yeah, the problem I'm having here is this is a 14mm. I messed up. So I have my 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter on my 14mm to make it a little longer, but I need it to be shorter than before, like I showed you with the two together. And I'm just going to continue unscrewing that bolt to get it out. Right under there is a 12mm bolt, which you have to loosen up to get the tension off of the belt. There you go. See that? And you're going to loosen up that bolt there and finish this long one down there. Unscrew it, pull it out. Make sure you don't lose it. So it looks pretty nice, almost brand new. I'm going to loosen this some more. Pull this back. See that? That took the tension off the belt enough. Well, I gotta put this that way. There we go. Now I can slide the belt off. Hopefully you can see that because it looks dark on the camera screen. I don't know why, because it's daytime. careful with the refrigerant line. Try to just work it out of here. There we go. Quick. If you could see that, you see when you spin it, it's wobbling. It still spins okay. It's a little hard to spin it, which I believe is normal. Hopefully you can see that. So pretty sure the bearing is bad in this because they over tighten the belt. So unscrew this bolt because you have to keep this bracket. You give them this, they won't give it back, and you'll have to go to a junkyard to get this. I get my little adapters. Unscrew this thing. I'm just going to keep these in the car for now. Take your replacement alternator and reattach this bracket. Reinsert the new alternator. Make sure this part is down, facing down. Work it in around the AC line. Move the belt out of the way. Be careful because you don't want to knock it off the other pulleys. If you knock the belt off, you can look up a diagram online about how to reroute the belt. Get your long bolt. You might have to, or you're gonna have to move the alternator around to get it to go through. Screw it on as far as you can by hand because remember before it was difficult to get the socket in here. So since this is new, there's not going to be any rust. You can screw the bolt in much easier by hand. Before it was impossible to move it by hand because of the rust. Before you put the alternator back in the car, the new alternator, you want to make sure it spins freely. This one does. Next we need to reinstall the tensioner bracket. You have this bolt, you're going to put it in here. The way this thing works is when you tighten this bolt, it will put tension on the belt, and then when you get it where you want it, you tighten up the bolts here. That goes to the alternator. Put this in. Don't snug this up until the last step. Next, what I'm going to do is reconnect the wires. I'll start with this here, the wire harness. I'll plug that back in. Make sure you hear a click. Move that until it goes in. Snug this up. It's a 10mm socket you need. Get it snug, but don't go too tight because it's plastic. It'll break. Put this plastic thing back on. I'm going to snug up this top bolt for now because I have to go and adjust the tension on the belt. You need a 12mm socket. Snug this up. Next, I'm going to start turning this bolt to get the tension on the belt. See, the alternator is getting pulled up towards me. This bolt was about halfway before, but it was way too tight before. Look down there to make sure that the belt is on all the pulleys correctly. Now the belt's starting to get tight. So what you want to do is you want to come to the longest point of the belt, which is right here between the alternator and the crankshaft, and then you want to turn it like this. I think you can see that in the camera. You turn it like this. See how it's going to 90 degrees, but I can still turn it a little more. And it needs to be tensioned up a little more. You want to do that until you can only go to 90 degrees with the belt. Let me try it again. Not a lot of working room in here as usual. I can just barely get it to 90 degrees, but I can't turn it anymore because my hand is hitting something in there on the engine. I believe that should do it right there for the tension. Now we need to tighten up this other bolt right here. Have to finish tightening up the lower bolt on the alternator. Gonna go start the car and see if we still hear that hideous noise.